Hi everyone, today's video is the second one in my series about TikTok instructors. However, that's probably not fair because the video that we're going to be looking at today is by World Driving. I think it's Chris who is the instructor, and World Driving have been going on for years. Honestly, they were the biggest driving school, in my opinion. They were the biggest driving school YouTube channel when I started producing videos 10 years ago. So Chris has been going on for years and years and years, but this clip does qualify because I actually saw it on TikTok. So let's have a little look at the clip first, and then I'm going to try and put right a few of the things that I don't think are quite correct.
I'm currently driving above 25 miles per hour, in third gear, and I'm going to stop at the roundabout. The main priority, because of the speed I'm driving, is to slow down, so I'll come off gas and brake. Second priority is not to stall. Clutch down about 2 car lengths before stopping completely, and I can also change gear if needed at this point. The speed limit is 40 miles per hour. I'm driving over 30, so I'll release the gas pedal and press the brake to slow down more. And now clutch down about 2 car lengths before stopping. Now if you're driving slowly below 10 miles per hour and want to stop, then press the clutch before the brake so that the car doesn't stall, and then brake to slow down if needed or stop.
Thank you, sir. Chris's stuff and Chris's videos are actually pretty much on point, so please don't think that what I'm going to go on to talk about with this clip is conducive of the clips that Chris usually puts out. There's a lot of good stuff that he's produced over the years, but this is an important point that I've got a little affinity with because it's one of my 6 main skills: listening. So I'm approaching this junction. What I'd like to do first is just have a little look at idle speed. Idle speed is now, where the car's just taking itself along. And notice I had to press the clutch before I started to brake. If you've got to go slower than idle speed, you need to press the clutch first. Okay, I'm going to go through a couple of bits and then I'm going to just reference it to the video. So idle speed's really important. The idle speed level is where we saw by my rev counter on the right hand side that it was traveling, well, it was running at about 1,000 revs, or just under 1,000 revs. It's the lowest point that your engine wants to work at. If you try and go lower than that, that's when you're going to be pushing the car towards a stall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up to the next set of traffic lights and I'm going to turn left. This is a little different than the last junction that I came to because I'm above idle speed. So I'm using the brake a little bit first until it gets to idle speed, and then I'm pressing the clutch and choosing my lower gear. So it's a little different than this video suggests. This video suggests at a couple of car lengths away from the roundabout, I think it was, or the junction, the clutch needs to be depressed when it's in third gear, and that's the bit that I don't think is correct. It might work in some vehicles, but all vehicles are differently geared and the engines work in a different way. Let's have a little look to see what would happen if I press the clutch in third gear a couple of car lengths before I'm going to turn. I should press it now. It nearly stalled and I had to scramble for that gear. So I'm at idle speed, clutch goes down first, and then I gently brake. So it's not a case of being underneath 10 miles an hour which is referenced in the video where the clutch goes first, it's dependent on the gear that you're in. Now, the other thing that I don't teach my students is to do it to a mile per hour. That does a couple of things, in my opinion. It gets you to focus at the dials and the instruments in front of you directly at the point where you should be taking some appropriate observation to do the junction. So this is a part of getting rid of the fluff that I've talked about quite a lot recently. If you can use your ears to manage that situation, it frees your eyes up to actually have a little look around. So it's not underneath 10 miles an hour that you to press the clutch. It's literally when the engine reaches idle speed. If you're above idle speed, you slow down with the brake first until you get to idle speed and then you declutch. But if you're at idle speed, you press the clutch straight away. I hope that makes sense. Again, the reason for doing these videos is not just to pull apart driving instructors online. No, it's not. It's people with a big reach. I just want to ensure that anyone who watches their particular content is that they're going to get then the correct messages. There are a couple of other issues that I'd like to discuss about the information in this particular video. That if you say that you declutch or press the clutch down a couple of car lengths before you come to a stop, that's then going to actually make you approach quicker. So I'm in third gear, approaching this junction up at the end, and if I want to press my clutch down 2 car lengths before the end, I've got to go in at this speed, clutch down, and then I approach quick and stop sharply, which again reduces the time for proper observation. Notice there, didn't even plan to do that, but I arrived and stopped, as opposed to observing on the approach, looking, and then maybe continuing. So I'm going to slow earlier. I'm listening for when to declutch. Do I need it? No. I might do in a moment though. So I'm going to declutch now because I'm at idle and I need to slow more, and this allows me to go slower here and then creep and roll in, and as you can see, I'm able to keep things moving with the traffic a little bit. I know the stopping again. So idle, clutch down, use the brake. People do think that that's coasting when you press that clutch a little earlier, and this is probably where this information has come from. That's maybe causing, Chris isn't on his own with this as well, that other instructors do teach the same thing. It's not coasting, it's classed as a controlled roll. You've slowed down as long as that gear will work, and I'm going to do the same here, just letting it idle. Not interested in 2 seconds, I'm just thinking the moment I need to brake, the clutch has got to go down before it. So clutch down, use my brake lightly, and I can control how I move in, and it doesn't have to be at that 2 car lengths last moment, diving on it at the last second. So rather than thinking distance, rather than thinking time, use your ears. Each car is geared differently. This is quite low geared, so, or short geared. Effectively, second gear in this car will work from a slower speed than it might do in my old 3 Series BMW. I had a 3 Series BMW, 2-litre diesel, lovely motor, but it was a lot longer geared. I'm not going to go into detail of why manufacturers do that, but second gear in this car will work at a slower speed than second gear would have done in my 3 Series. That means certain junctions should be able to be coped with no problem whatsoever in second gear in this car, but wouldn't have been able to be done in second gear in my BMW. So the only way you can ensure that you're going to be in the correct gear for what's going on out in front of you is to listen. the higher the speed, the higher the gear, the earlier you press the clutch. We'll have a little look here the next time I have to stop. I think really then I've got the message across. Maybe these lights, it might change, don't know, there's not much about, so they could do. So keep an eye on my speedo and keep an eye on my rev counter as well. We're going to get through exactly when I don't want to. Just ready to move the bus here. Now we're okay. It's probably then going to be at the next major junction. We can see the big green sign up on the right hand side. It's probably going to be at that. I'm going to do a left turn, and like I said, it's impossible to get down to 2 car lengths to then be able to declutch. It's going to be a load earlier, and again, by using your ears and listening, it allows me to slow in this manner and create the time. Listen, idle speed, clutch down. It's way further than 2 car lengths, and now the Fiesta moving has created me a little bit of a space to fit through, so all good there. So I think the big take from this is that when that gear has finished working, in fact here, I'll show you something different, I can tell whether I need the clutch or not just by listening. And some people will be declutching towards the end there because they've been taught to declutch 2 car lengths before the end of the junction. So that's another thing which causes a little bit of a problem. But like I said, all cars are different. Listening's the skill that helps you fix that. Chris, please don't think I'm pulling your work to bits. I've loved your work over the years, I still do. It's just this little bit that I saw and went, oh, Chris has got a big following. Perhaps I could do something to help get that information a little bit better. If you are an instructor and you teach that 2 car lengths, please try and put in the information that I've just given in that video, because it will help your students massively. Listening, remember, is one of the main, well, my main 6 skills that students do struggle with. If you've got any videos from TikTok or YouTube Shorts even of instructors doing certain things, please make me aware of them, because I'll have a little look at them. If there's any little bits that I think could do with a little bit of a correction, I will do. Keep safe everyone, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.